What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Fourth and 25 with J Ram. It feels like it's been a while since I've seen y'all out there. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying your Monday afternoon. Um, NFL playoffs are roaring. College football national championship game is set. Uh, First things first, like we normally do, we're gonna review a couple of games. We don't have as many to review now, but hey, here we go. Let's take a look at what has happened the past few days. Alrighty, guys. So the semifinals were this past week. Thursday night we had the Fiesta Bowl, and Friday night we had the Peach Bowl. Let's start with the Fiesta Bowl. As tough as that is for me as an Ole Miss fan to talk about, but it is what it is. Miami 31, Ole Miss 27. This was a classic. This was a hell of a football game for anybody who tuned in to watch. Um, Miami pulls it out 31-27. Carson Beck touchdown run with just under 20 seconds left. I believe it was 15 seconds. He scores the game-winning touchdown for the Hurricanes as they win this game 31-27, the final score. Carson Beck throws for 268, two touchdowns, game-winning touchdown run with 11 seconds left. Their talented running back, Mark Fletcher, he's coming back. He had 133 yards. Muhammad Tourir, their linebacker, 4 total tackles, had a big sack. Third downs, Miami 11 out of 19. Ole Miss struggled to stop them on third down and get them off the field. Ole Miss's offense, 2 out of 10 on third downs. Hard to win football games like that. Total yards, Miami 459, Ole Miss 398. Rushing yards 191 to 121. The big key component here was the time of possession. Miami kept the football for 41 minutes and 22 seconds. Ole Miss for 18-28. Miami executed their game plan to perfection here. They played keep away. They were the more physical team. They won the line of scrimmage, and they just had their way up front with Ole Miss for the most part. And it felt like this game was actually even further of a gap than it really was. Ole Miss gets the ball and goes on an insane couple of plays, and then throws a Hail Mary and a controversial no call on a pass play on the Hail Mary. Some thought it should have been an interference. But it's like Pete Golden said, that ain't why we lost the game. If Lucas Canero doesn't miss that field goal, Ole Miss is in position to kick a field goal and maybe win this football game. Who knows? But hey, kudos to Miami. They got it done. They executed their game plan. They did what they had to do, and they pulled it out. This was a great football game. As an Ole Miss fan, it sucks because you hate to see them lose, but it is what it is. Miami wins it 31-27. They go on to play for the national championship a week from tonight in their home stadium down at Hard Rock in Miami, Florida. So congrats to Mario Cristobal and the Hurricanes. They're headed to the title game. All right, the other semifinal. This was a splattering. This was bad. This was bad. Indiana 56, Oregon 22. Rest in peace to the Ducks for the season. Fernando Mendoza throws 5 touchdown passes, only 177, believe it or not, in his passing yards, but he throws for 5 touchdowns. Also picked up 28 yards on the ground. Running back Kaleon Black had 2 touchdowns. Elijah Surratt, their talented receiver, he caught 2 touchdowns. Daniel, I don't know how you say this guy's last name, Dukwi, D lineman, he had 2 sacks in this game. Indiana got a pick 6 on defense to start this game. Literally, first play from scrimmage, pick 6, touchdown. It already then felt like, oh my God, is this game supposed to get bad? It did. It got bad quick. D'Angelo Pons, he had 6 total tackles, 4 solos. He had the pick 6. Indiana's defense got 3 sacks in this game, 3 turnovers forced. They outrushed Oregon 185-93. Oregon 0 for 2 on 4th downs. This game wasn't even close. I mean, it was over quick. I mean, it felt like to me it was going to get ugly quick. That pick 6 was just an omen of things to come. It was rough. All right. So Indiana moves on. America's team, the sweethearts of college football, they move on to play Miami for the title a week from tonight. There's your first glance at your 2026 National Championship game from South Beach at Hard Rock Stadium. You've got Miami and you've got Indiana. You've got number 1 versus number 10 if you go by the seedings. Who knows what's going to happen here? Indiana is currently a 7.5-point favorite according to my books, according to what I'm looking at. So here's the matchup. How does Mendoza and that offense handle Miami's defensive line? Do they match them physicality-wise? I think they will. Is Miami going to play keep away? Can they execute their game plan like they did in the Fiesta Bowl? Who knows? But this is going to be a very interesting football game. Miami's going to have their hands full, but I also think Indiana's going to have their hands full. But, and I don't mean to knock Miami with what I'm about to say, but there's probably going to be more Indiana fans in that stadium than Miami fans in the games in Miami. Imagine that. But congrats to both these teams, though. They've made it this far. And 1 week from tonight, they will play for the national championship. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a heck of a football game. Shout out to Kurt Signetti. This was hilarious. After winning the Peach Bowl, Kurt Signetti said, "I'm really not thinking about the next game. I'm thinking about cracking open a beer." The dude has some of the best facial expressions on the sideline. There's obviously pictures and what they call them, GIFs, images of that, and they've run with this. This dude is a national treasure. Love this guy. Great coach. Obviously, I guess you could say he's the best coach in America right now if you want to. The job he's done in Indiana in 2 years. 11-2 last year. You make the playoff. You lost to Ohio State and Notre Dame. No shame. The 2 teams that played in the title game last year. This year, holy cow. This man is sitting 15-0, 1 win away from the first 16-0 team in college football history. This is insane. And it's Indiana. Indiana. This man is, 26-2? Yeah, 26-2. He's beat Ohio State. He's beat Michigan. He's beat Alabama. I mean, my goodness, what a job he's done. And he's also quietly a funny human being. He's even said he actually does smile, believe it or not, and actually can be happy at times. But he's a tremendous football coach. Funny dude. Shout out to him. His Hoosiers headed on to play for the national championship. All right. Now, let me see if I can. I still can't get this up here. Okay. So I don't have the graphic, but let me also recap the FCS National Championship game that was this past Monday night. Montana State, Illinois State, this was a hell of a football game. 35-34, Bobcats get the win. This game was 28-14 in favor of Montana State going into the fourth quarter, and then Illinois State pulled that magic out of their hat again. They actually outgained them in all yardage categories, but we go to overtime at 28-28. Illinois State blocked the extra point. Montana State scores. They hit their extra point. Bobcats are the national champions of FCS. Their quarterback, Justin Lampson, he goes off for 280 and 2 scores, 30 rushing and 2 scores, 310 total yards, 4 touchdowns. Taco Dowler, the receiver, 8 catches, 100-plus, a touchdown. Also a 22-yard rushing touchdown. Cole Taylor, talented linebacker for the Bobcats, 16 total tackles, 4 solos. Got a tackle for loss. I mean, Montana State was uncharacteristically undisciplined in this football game. Montana State had 14 penalties. Illinois State had 5. And they still won the game. But anyway, shout out to the Bobcats. They are your FCS national champions. That was a fun game. Nashville was on fire for that game. Shout out to both of the fan bases. They took over Music City, I thought, really well. The game peaked at 3 million viewers, is what I understood. So it did pretty well. But phenomenal FCS title game. Congrats to the Bobcats. They're the champions. And again, what a season. All right. So, and as far as this goes, the national championship game on next Monday, we will pick that game on next week's show, by the way. I will pick it next week. All right. So I'm going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the transfer portal, playoff expansion. Again, it's back in the discussion. A couple more guys who are coming back. And we got a couple other little things we're going to talk about. All right, so we will see y'all in a minute. All right, guys. One more.
I will never be free now, my baby, no, no. It's on time, you can get to work by 9 and start your slaving job to get your pay. If you ever get annoyed, look at me, I'm self-employed. I love to work at nothing all day, and we've been taking care of business every day. Taking care of business every way, we've been taking care of business. It's all mine. Taking care of business, and I've been working overtime. Work out.
All right, guys. Welcome back to 4th and 25. Let's jump into some news and notes. This actually just came out, I believe, yesterday. Heather Dinich of ESPN is reporting the Big Ten is willing to consider a 16-team playoff field for 2026 if the SEC will commit to 24 2 or 3 years later. Multiple sources told ESPN SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey has no interest in committing to that right now. Sources said that if Sankey and the Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti do not come to a compromise by January 23rd, this field will remain at 12. Interesting. Okay, so my thoughts on that. 24, you're pretty much copycatting the FCS model, which, okay, there's some that want 16. There's some who think we have too many. There's some that wish we go back to 4, which I know we ain't. There's some who wish we would go back to 2. But in my whole humble opinion, if you're going to grow this thing further, if you're going to grow it to 16 or 24, it's time to cancel the bowl games. It's time to retire them, put them away, honor them, or either put them as far as non-con games in the regular season. I would like to see the New Year's Six still be included in this playoff, but at the same time, I would also like to see more home on-campus playoff games, in my whole humble opinion, because I think the atmospheres have been great at them. And so my solution, and I talked about this before, I said this is what I would do, just my 2 cents. I want the G5 to have their own playoff, okay? I think they need their own playoff with their own national champion. Um, how would you break that up? There's different ways. What I would do is, if you're going to do this, Power 4, 16, G6, 16. The G6, you would have your 6 champions. They would get auto bids, and your 10 at larges. So that's 16 schools. That's enough. That's 16 out of, I believe, 68 teams. That's plenty. FBS, same way. The Power 4, I'm sorry, same way. Your 4 champions get auto bids. Notre Dame's pretty much going to be in. And then you've got 11 at larges. So easy fix, in my whole humble opinion. I would like to see that. Now, this 24 team model, again, as you see, they would consider 16, but they want the SEC to commit to 24 eventually. As far as this 24 team model, don't get me wrong, it's working in the FCS, but I think you've got to shorten the regular season back to 11 games. I really just don't want to see the regular season get watered down. That's one of my fears, is how much will this negatively impact the regular season. Because what if you get to the Iron Bowl, say Alabama's 10-1 or 11-0, they know they're in the playoff. What if they rest guys and don't fully put into beating Auburn, So that's just my concern. I like the idea of 16, and I might even would be starting to open to 24, but you got to shorten the season, and you're going to have to retire the bowl games, or you're going to have to move them to the start of the year as non-conference games, something like that. Because there's no way. Look, you're already struggling to keep the bowl system somewhat alive with the 12-team format. It ain't gonna work with 16 or 24. There's just no way. But I would like to see the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl, the 2 oldest bowl games we have, be kept involved with this playoff. Is maybe your semifinals every year, or maybe throw the Orange Bowl in there, and then the Rose Bowl be the national championship every year. Now, I mean, I know a lot of people like rotating it, but why not finish the season in Pasadena every year? I think that would be cool. As far as the FCS goes, they could have the Fiesta Bowl. I mean, not the FCS, the G5, G6. They could have the Fiesta Bowl, they could have the Cotton Bowl, the Peach Bowl, they could have those as their semis. Let the Peach Bowl be the G6 National Championship. They can end their season in Atlanta. I mean, the College Football Hall of Fame is in Atlanta, so why not? So just some ideas there. But this was a fascinating story that I thought would be worth sharing with you guys and girls out there in the world. All right, so next up, we'll take another quick break. I gotta try to get these other graphics up. We're gonna talk about Chris Kleinman and what he told Heartland College Sports in an interview or for a site that should scare people. That's very interesting. We're going to talk about, I'm going to share with you how off I was on my predictions this year for conference champions. I had some rough ones. And then we'll talk about the transfer portal, of course. So we'll see you guys here in just a minute.
To hate Andrew Anderson, stating truth that just can't wait. Got a podcast like a punch right to your face. College sports villain, taking it over the place. I bring the facts whether you like it or not. Dropping truth bombs, giving it all I got. They call me a villain. Well, I wear that badge with pride. Nothing but secrets they try to hide. Hard rock in my veins, rebellious to the core. I won't back down, won't take it anymore. The bad guy of the podcast world, that's me. Unleashing the truth, setting it all free. Unleashing the truth.
J Ram are enjoying your day. Hope you're having a good day. All right, so welcome back. So we're going to jump in real quick. I'm going to share with y'all my conference predictions from this season. We're just going to tell you how bad off I was. I was going to share it on a graphic, but we can't get the graphics uploaded right now. So we'll start with the G5 leagues. Of course, the Pac-12 does not come back till next season. So, Conference USA. This is how bad off I was. I picked Liberty to win the conference, and they only won 4 games. I think they went 4-8. I had them winning the conference. I had them beating Louisiana Tech in the championship game. Had no clue Kennesaw State was going to be there, obviously. I thought they were going to be down. I thought Jacksonville State was going to be down. Shows how well I knew that. How good I done there. Not good at all. But shout out to Kennesaw State. Anyway, I was off really bad there. The MAC, I had Toledo and Buffalo in the championship. I had Toledo winning again. We was off. Ohio and Miami, Ohio, I believe was the title game. Miami, Ohio ended up winning. But it is what it is. Toledo kind of let me down there. Now the Sun Belt, I actually got one right. I actually got this one. I picked James Madison. I thought they were the best team. I thought they had the best talent, and they did not let me down. They actually went ahead of them 11-2, but they lost 2 games. Once won non-con and then the playoff game. They actually went undefeated in Sun Belt play. But I had them in Texas State playing for the championship. Texas State obviously was not as good. Arkansas. Who was the West champ? Oh, Troy. Troy, yeah. I had Troy winning 4 games, so I was off bad on that one. But I picked James Madison though, so I got that one right. Mountain West Championship, I got this one right. I picked Boise State, but I had them beating San Jose State. I thought San Jose would be a lot better than they were. Since I can't get my graphics up, this is just kind of to show y'all. This is me telling the truth. I would not lie to y'all. All right. So anyway, the AAC, I actually picked Navy to win the American, and they had a good year. They actually won more games than I thought they would. But I had them beating Memphis in the title game. Obviously, it ended up being Tulane and North Texas. That North Texas was a great story. Tulane was a good team. Tulane made the playoff, but after winning this conference, Independence, I almost got Washington State right. I had them 5-7. They obviously ended up 7-6 after the bowl win. UConn, I almost nailed. They were 9-3 before the bowl game. I had them 8-4. Oregon State, I was bad off. I thought they were going to be much better than they were. I think I had them. Yeah, I had them winning 9 games. I was wrong. Notre Dame went 11-1 on my predictions. They actually went 10-2. The only game they lost that I had them losing was Miami. I didn't think they'd lose to A&M, but they did. Okay, so let's look at the SEC real quick. I actually picked Texas to win the SEC. I had Texas and Georgia playing at Atlanta rematch, but I had Texas winning it. I was off wrong. Like Alabama, I had them 10-2. I thought LSU would be 9-3. I was off on LSU. I was actually right on Alabama, except I didn't get their SEC record right. I had them 6-2 in SEC play. Ole Miss, my Rebels, I had them 8-4. I did not think we were going to be as good as we were, so I was way off. I was glad to be off. Let's see. Vanderbilt won 10 games. I had them winning 7. That's how off I was. South Carolina, I had them winning 8. Y'all know how their season went. Big Ten, I picked Penn State to play Ohio State in the championship game. I actually had Penn State winning the Big Ten. Oh well, I thought it was their year. I think a lot of people did, but they didn't get it done. And I was saying they got a new head coach. Indiana, the sweethearts of America, I had them losing 3 games. I thought they were going to be 9-3. I thought they would. I thought last year was a cute little story, but then I thought they would come slowly back to reality. Come to me, the new reality I have to accept, and it's just that Indiana's really damn good. So they went. I had them 9-3. They're obviously undefeated and playing for the national title. Big 12. I got this one right. I had Texas Tech winning the Big 12 since August. I just didn't have their opponent right. I had them playing Arizona State. Of course, with Sam Levitt's injury and a couple other things, Arizona State kind of went down a little bit. BYU, I had winning 7 games. I didn't think they were going to be a double-digit win team, and I was completely wrong. And finally, the ACC, I picked Clemson to win the ACC. Stupid me. I had them in SMU, another rematch. SMU, of course, did not make it either. Of course, I don't think none of us thought Duke was going to win the ACC, but they did. I had Duke winning 8 games. I had Virginia winning 6 games. Boy, was I wrong on that one. Whew. Keep my day job, I guess. But anyway, so I had Clemson winning the ACC. I was bad off on that one. As far as the playoff goes, so in the first round, I had Arizona State as the 11 seed playing Georgia the 6 seed. My 10-7 matchup was Texas Tech against Alabama. My 12-5 was Boise State against Ohio State. I was bad off on that one. Yeah, exactly. LSU and Oregon was my last first round game. Hey, Deuce, what's up? Indiana had 5 6-year seniors on the reported. Yeah, I mean, experienced seniors and helping the transfer portal. Indiana rocked and rolled. I actually thought Indiana would take a slight step back. I thought it was just a 1-year wonder. But, hey, glad to be wrong. All right, quarterfinals. I had Georgia playing Texas in the Sugar Bowl. Georgia was there, but it was against Ole Miss. Orange Bowl, I had Alabama Clemson. Wrong. Cotton Bowl, I had Ohio State Notre Dame. I got half of that right. Rose Bowl, I had LSU Penn State. Not even close. Semifinals, we had Texas against Clemson at the Fiesta Bowl. Wrong. Peach Bowl, I had Notre Dame Penn State. Wrong. And in the national championship, I had Penn State beating Clemson. I thought this was going to be the year Penn State won the national championship. I was wrong. So if I had a clown nose in here, I'd put it on for you. I'd put on that big red clown nose. But I was off really, really bad. So anyway, that's how off I was. All right, next up, let's talk about some more players who have announced they are coming back in 2026 since the last time I talked to you guys. Not a long list. I've actually got 9 players. I'm sorry. How about this? Bryce Underwood, Michigan quarterback. He's coming back. Also, Andrew Marsh, one of his receivers, is coming back to Ann Arbor. Keywan Lacey, the talented running back at Ole Miss, he's coming back. Hotty toddy. For James Madison, talented receiver Braden Wislowski and D lineman Amar Thomas are coming back. Western Michigan gets their quarterback back, Brock Lowry. He's coming back. Plus DBs John Peters and Javar Sims. And then Washington quarterback Devin Williams. What a story for this cat. This guy's been. He says he's coming back to Washington, signs a deal. Then he gets in the portal. Apparently looks to be headed to LSU, supposedly. But Washington got legal with it, saying he signed the deal to stay with them. Well, the Big Ten sided with Washington, so we were about to have an ugly mess in the courts. But Devin Williams finally comes out and says, you know what, I'm just going to stay at Washington. So he didn't want to get involved with that because he knew he was breaking his contract, his deal. So Devin Williams, quarterback of the Washington Huskies, is coming back. All right, let's see. Still no luck. Damn it. Oh well. All right, so that's some players who have announced that they are coming back. So let's take a look at the transfer portal. Now, here are some more players who have announced that they have entered the portal. Now, there's a couple of these who have committed to new schools. I just haven't updated this. Again, I can't get my graphic up today, so for this one. So here's a list of guys who have jumped in the portal since the last time I was on the air. Iverson Hooks, wide receiver at UAB, he's in the portal. Some O linemen, Joe Bruner from Wisconsin, he's a good player. Daniel Cruz at Texas. On the D line, Malachi Williams. Louisiana Tech defensive end Jaden Matkins, good football player. He had a good game in the Independence Bowl. Wide receiver Tyseer Denmark. D lineman James Smith of Alabama is in the portal. Another Louisiana Tech receiver, Marleon Jackson. San Diego State running back Byron Cardwell Jr. is in the portal. Vanderbilt receiver Trey Washington has jumped in the portal. Now, he's already committed. I believe he's going to Louisville. From Texas Tech, a defensive end, Dylan Spencer, he's in the portal. We've got some DBs. Kevin Longstreet of USC and Luke Evans of Miami, Ohio are both in the portal. Justin Cryer, linebacker at Florida State, he's in the portal. Another Arizona State running back, Kanye Udo, he's in the portal. He played at Army, and then he went to Arizona State. Now he's looking for another home. Alabama linebacker Kua Rasal, he is in the portal. Brothers Mandrell and Daryl Desir, they're D linemen at Florida State. They are jumped in the transfer portal. Justice Haynes, running back at Michigan, he's in the portal. And one more that was added, offensive lineman Delano Townsend of Ole Miss. He's in the transfer portal as well. All right, now before we continue, let's take a look at the updated class rankings for portal classes as of January 11th. This is courtesy of per 247 Sports. This is their top 25 portal classes as of yesterday. Top 40, I'm sorry. Yeah, top 40, I'm an idiot. North Carolina checking in at 40. You've got Cincinnati 39, Houston 38. I know they've been making some big waves. Boston College 37. They got a good running back from Liberty the other day. Michigan State is in the at 36. We've got Purdue at 35. Mississippi State 34. South Florida G6 school. I know they got one guy from Ohio State who's pretty good. They're 33rd. Excuse me. Northwestern 32, Virginia Tech 31, James Franklin working his wonders in the portal. Nebraska at 30, we've got USC at 29, Wisconsin 28, Baylor 27, Georgia 26, Alabama at 25th, Georgia Tech 24, they're doing pretty solid. Minnesota's checking in at 23rd, looks like UCLA at 22, Florida State 21, South Carolina, Shane Beamer's crew working the portal, they're 20th. A&M at 19th, Colorado at 18th, Dion working it pretty good, Tennessee at 17th, we got Missouri at 16th, and then the top 15 portal classes, Texas, of course, 15, Arkansas is at 14, a lot of SEC right here, you got Florida 13, they're doing pretty good, Oklahoma's at 12, Auburn at 11, and then you got some surprises as we go into this top 10. Number 10, you got Louisville, Brian Brom, he's gotten pretty good at doing this portal thing. Cal at number 9, their new coach Tosh Lapoy, he's doing really good. Indiana 8, of course, they're working the portal. They got Josh Hoover from TCU at quarterback. He's their quarterback for next year. They got a really good receiver out of Michigan State. They've got some good defensive additions. They're killing it. Arizona State 7. You got Texas Tech at 6, of course. How about Kentucky? Kentucky is at number 5. Did not see that coming. They added C.J. Baxter, a running back from Texas. That was a really good pickup for those guys. And then, of course, they got the quarterback from Notre Dame, who we thought was going to Nebraska, but then he decided to go to Kentucky. Ole Miss is at 4. Portal Pete. Ole Miss added Deuce Knight, quarterback from Auburn. They added a running back from LSU today. They've been loading up on defense. Portal Pete's working wonders. LSU number 3, of course, Lane Kiffin, one of the best of work in the transfer portal. He's getting his guys. He got his quarterback today. I believe it was today. Sam Levitt from Arizona State. He's coming to Baton Rouge. He got a receiver from Ole Miss. He got a really good safety from Boise State, too. So LSU's working it strong. Number 2 is Penn State. Matt Campbell doing wonders, of course. He, he got 18 players from Iowa State. It's like half of Iowa State's team transferred to Penn State. Now, of course, Penn State had a lot of guys leave, but they loaded right back up with Iowa State players. And number 1, not a huge surprise here, given circumstances. Oklahoma State's the number 1 portal class. They have 43 commitments. The last I saw, 43 commitments for Oklahoma State. Now, they got the quarterback, they got a running back, and they got several guys from North Texas. Obviously, because their coach, Eric Morse, was at North Texas. So he pretty much morphed in I think, a good chunk of North Texas's team to bring them to Oklahoma State. So, going to be a fascinating experiment to watch with teams basically portaling half of other teams into their rosters. I mean, like we said, I think it feels like half of Penn State is Iowa State transfers, or a chunk of Oklahoma State is North Texas transfers. So, it's going to be a fascinating watch to see next season, see how those two teams look. But anyway, so that is an update on that. And now let's do let me pull it up here real fast. I had it up right here. This is a list of players that are in the portal but have announced their new homes and where they're going. Let me pull it up real quick. Okay. All right. So, South Florida quarterback Byron Brown, he's headed to Auburn. No shock, to play with Alex Golish, his former coach at USF. That's not a surprise. Jackson Arnold, QB at Auburn, he's headed to UNLV to play for Dan Mullen. I'm a little surprised. I thought he might end up in the start role, but there were some other possibilities. Aiden Childs, he was a good QB at Oregon State. He went to Michigan State with Jonathan Smith. But now Jonathan Smith is no longer coaching, so he's gone to Northwestern. Wake Forest defensive tackle Mateen Agba. He was a top 20 prospect on ESPN's portal players. He left Wake Forest. He's going to Texas Tech. Anthony Colandrea, the UNLV quarterback, he's gone to Nebraska. We talked about Kenny Mitchie, quarterback at Notre Dame. He went to Nebraska, but now he's going to Kentucky. Hunter Tipton, really good G5 tight end at Middle Tennessee. He's going to Memphis. Johnny Brown III, this was a really good offensive lineman at Georgia Southern. He was an all Sun Belt player. He's going to Louisville. Good pickup there for Brian Brom. Dorian Thomas, really good tight end at New Mexico. If you watch New Mexico play this year, he's going to Cal. James Peoples, good running back from Ohio State. He got in the portal. He's going to Penn State. Colorado with this pickup, Justin Eaglin, DB from JMU. Really good defensive addition for Coach Prime and his staff. Miami, Ohio linebacker Adam Trick is going to Texas Tech. Oregon State D lineman JoJo Johnson, also going to Texas Tech. A couple more linemen. James Madison's Trent Wilson headed to Iowa. If you've watched Iowa play, you know they have a history of producing great offensive linemen, so that's a really good spot to go. And then Awar O'Neal, he was an OT at Delaware. He's headed to Louisville too. Quentin Taylor, a DB from Iowa State. He's coming down here to play at Mississippi State. Running back Adam Mohammed from Washington, headed to Cal. Quarterback Austin Simmons from Ole Miss. He's headed to Missouri. I'm super happy for him. We'll miss him in Oxford, but I wish him all the best. at Missouri. Hunter Osborne, defensive lineman from Virginia. He's headed to Arkansas. Edge rusher Jamal Johnson from UCF going to Northwestern. That's a good pickup. Caden Marshall, really good linebacker at Bowling Green, headed to SMU. From the FCS, UC Davis QB Caden Pinnock, he's headed to Washington State. He put up phenomenal numbers last year for UC Davis. Linebacker Luke Farrell at Cal. He left Cal, all ACC performer, going to Clemson, so he's staying in the ACC. This one was really talked about. Parker Livingston, wide receiver at Texas. He's going to Oklahoma. So he's jumping from one side of the Red River rivalry to the other. We'll make sure my audio is still good. Running back Evan Dickens of Liberty going to Boston College. We talked about this young man. He was a top 5 rusher in the country and in the G5. He was a phenomenal running back for the Flames. He's headed to BC to play for Bill O'Brien. Kenny Azawalu, DT at UTSA, going to Oklahoma. Ori Williams, an offensive tackle from LSU, going to Tennessee. We talked about this a minute ago. Ty Benfield, safety at Boise State, headed to LSU. Very good place for DBs to go. Defensive end Alexander McPherson of Colorado, headed to Penn State. Another quarterback, Aaron Follow at Georgia Tech. He backed up Haynes King. He's going to Florida. Very interesting pickup for John Summerall and the Gators. Another lineman from LSU, Curious Kern. He's leaving LSU to go to Ole Miss. A couple of linebackers, Cole Sullivan at Michigan. He's headed to Oklahoma. If you know, Oklahoma produces them linebackers. And then Tackett Curtis of Wisconsin. He's headed to UCF. An FCS move, Chris Corbo, defensive end out of Dartmouth. He's going to Georgia Tech. One smart school to another. Owen Chambliss, we talked about him leaving San Diego State. He was a phenomenal Mountain West linebacker. He's headed to Nebraska. A.J. Swan, quarterback at Appalachia State. He's headed to Mississippi State. Is he going to be their guy next year? Defensive end, Jaheim Otis of Colorado, headed to Ole Miss. Cornerback, Monte Pate of Weber State. He's going to Northwestern. Jet Cheese Brown, D lineman of Southeast Missouri. He's headed to Appalachia State. Running back Seth Cromwell of Northern Arizona. He's headed to James Madison. Corey Marick, safety of Southern Miss, going to Clemson. Good pickup for Dabo. Another cornerback, a DB headed to Clemson. Donovan Starr from Auburn to Clemson. Not bad, Dabo. Courtney Kelly, defensive lineman from West Georgia of the FCS, also headed to Clemson. We've got Cam Coleman, the talented receiver from Auburn who jumped in the portal. He has officially signed. He is going to Texas. Good pickup for the Longhorns. Another weapon for Arch. Michael Van Buren, he was a quarterback at LSU this past year. He's gone. He's going to South Florida. Maybe a good pickup for them. A kicker, actually. Scott Starzik of Arkansas. He jumped in the portal. He's going to LSU. Marcus Strong, D lineman of Oklahoma, headed to Clemson. Raleek Brown, running back of Arizona State, headed to Texas. Good pickup for the Longhorns. DJ Lagway, quarterback at Florida, has committed to Baylor, but he is not. This says he is not signed yet because he did visit Ole Miss this past weekend, but I don't think he's officially signed with Baylor, but it says he's committed. Amaris Williams, D lineman at Auburn, going to Georgia. One rival to another. Linebacker Christian Allergro of Wisconsin, headed to Ohio State. Jacarius Peak, offensive tackle out of NC State. He's going down to South Carolina to play for Shane Beamer. Edge rusher Chaz Coleman of Penn State. He's going to Tennessee. Trey White, a phenomenal edge rusher at San Diego State, headed to Texas Tech. Hollywood Smothers, running back out of NC State. So he had left NC State and had actually committed to Alabama. He was going to go to Bama. Never signed nothing. But after he visited Texas, I don't know if they threw the money in his face or what, but he agreed, and he's headed to play for the Longhorns. Trey Richardson, we talked a little bit about him, the Vanderbilt receiver. He's headed to Louisville. We've got Boston College receiver Reed Harris on his way to Arizona State. That's a good one. Arkansas DT Ian Jafford, headed to Texas. A few more here. Khalil Barnes, a safety out of Clemson, headed to Georgia. Cornerback John Tess Williams at Iowa State, he was a good one. He's headed to USC. Uh, Devin Tompkins, DT at USC, he's on his way to Alabama. NC State receiver Terrell Anderson headed to USC. USC produces those receivers. Brady Prescorn, tight end at Michigan, on his way to Ole Miss. That makes me happy as a Rebel fan. His brother Caden, of course, was phenomenal down here for us when he came from Memphis. So looking forward to having another Prescorn. Also, a couple of more Ole Miss pickups. Janelle Aguero, safety out of Georgia. Edwin Joseph, a DB from Florida State. Happy about that. And then, of course, the quarterback, Deuce Knight, coming from Auburn. A lot of hype, not a lot of experience, but we'll see what he can do. Winston Watkins, receiver from Ole Miss. He's going to LSU to play for Lane Kiffin. There's obviously a connection there. Wish him well. Nebraska quarterback Dylan Raiola. There was speculation of some schools, but he committed today. He is going to Oregon. Love that pickup. Great job, Dan Lanning. LSU got Sam Levitt. Obviously, we talked about it, the quarterback from Arizona State. He is going to Baton Rouge to give Lane Kiffin a plug-in and play quarterback. Good quarterback when he's healthy. Finally, we just C.J. Baxter, running back at Texas, going to Kentucky. And then finally, our last one we added before the show, J.T. Lindsey, a four-star prospect. He went to LSU last year. He is going to Ole Miss to follow running backs coach Frank Wilson. All right, so that is a portal update. One more time. Oh, wait, I already deleted it. All right, so, yeah, that's where we are with the portal. This thing does not close until Friday. Yeah, Friday, January 16th. That is when the portal's last day, and it'll close at midnight that night, and then whatever happens, happens. Like I say, if you jump in the portal, you don't have to commit to your new school by the 16th, but you have until the 16th to get in it. All right, so I'm going to take one more break, and when we come back, we are going to talk about one more thing. We're going to talk about this Chris Kleinmans story, and then we're going to get out of here. So we will see y'all in a minute.
Look at me, I'm lost at sea, circling eternally. Come and help me from this insanity. Where am I disgrace? I hate to see your face. I wanna see you drown in your sorrow. You know I know I'm not the same. I'm fading away, I'm falling into my grave.
Guys, welcome back to 4th and 25 with J-Ram. Speaking of which, Kansas State just got a transfer safety from Georgia. Congrats to K-State. All right, let me pull it up real quick. A little slow service right here. But we're going to talk about this story with Chris Kleinman that should probably have people. Yeah, here it is. All right, let me load it real fast for you, and we're going to talk about this. Chris Kleinman, for those you don't know, was the coach at Kansas State. He announced his retirement after the season and walked away. So, let's see. All right, so former Kansas State coach Chris Kleinman spoke with the Mercury. I'm assuming that's a magazine or a news outlet. In his first long-form conversation since he stepped away as head coach of the Wildcats last month, honesty in which he talked about his decision was a clear warning sign for his personal health and the health of college football. By the way, this is from Heartland College Sports. They do an excellent job up there in Big 12 country. All right, Chris Kleinman, he shared his frustration with the state of the sport, adding that his December and January was not going to be about recruiting, but instead deal-making. This is his quote. That's all I'm going to do the whole month of December and January is work with whatever 80 of our kids to see if we can keep them. And if not, go work with 580 kids to fill the 30 spots we're going to need. That's all December and January. That's not recruiting. That's just finding ways to make deals. You're just putting compensation packages together. did he turn down tens of millions of dollars? The reality is Kleinman likely walked away from tens of millions of dollars, regardless of if he won or lost in the years to come. He had 7 years left on his contract. Win or lose, he was going to make a lot of money. Let's say 2026 was a letdown again. Skipping down a little bit here. Kleinman said, but I'd never been driven by money. He told the Mercury, I'm blessed that K-State's AD hired me so that I can set up my family for life. Talking about Gene Taylor. Kleinman could have kept things going on that larger paydays were coming, but as he noted, that's never what drove him. Money never drove him. If you're not alive to enjoy the money, what's the point? But his most shocking comment was this. I've been doing this for 35 years, he said, but I'd die if I kept doing this job. I'd die. If I kept doing this job, I'm going to have a heart attack or I was going to have a stroke. That honesty coming from a coach that fans are not typically used to hearing, but giving the nonstop demands of the job at 58 years old and having reported prior health issues, he admitted he had enough. And yes, he's made tens of millions of dollars coaching, so he's not retiring and relying on Social Security, but still, he was being honest regarding what was in the best health interest given where he is in his life. This is not the sport Chris Kleinman spent 35 years coaching. It's changed, and he acknowledged that while admitting he wasn't interested in being a part of it anymore. As for what next, he said he's going to decompress with his wife in Florida and determine his next steps after that. He wouldn't rule out coaching if the rule changes in a way that he finds palatable, but he also added he doesn't expect that to happen anytime soon. Wow. All right, so Kleinman it took a toll on his health. And he said he thought he would die or have a stroke if he kept doing it. And he doesn't believe it's recruiting anymore. He believes it's deal making. The landscape of the sport has changed so much, and that's kind of to me why Saban left. I don't think Saban liked where it was going, and Kleinman obviously didn't either. So they both decided it was time to leave. Not gonna lie to you, I wouldn't be shocked and expect more to happen down the road. It could be years down the road, but I think you're going to see more people step away from it because it's not what they signed up for. Kind of a scary thought. Who knows where we're headed, though. All right, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. I hope y'all have enjoyed the show. I want to keep it under an hour, and we're going to make that. So, next show, 1 week from today, we are going to be doing a show Monday around the same time. And we will, of course, preview and predict who's going to win the national championship game between Miami and Indiana. Plus, we'll look back on bowl season, our best offensive players of bowl season, defensive, special teams, best games, and we'll just kind of have a big end of the year celebration. We'll look back on the season, surprises, disappointments, stories, whatever. But we'll take a look back on the season. We'll predict the title game, and yeah. Actually, you know what? I take that back. We'll do a preview and pick for the national championship, and we'll look back on bowl season. We'll put a final wrap on the portal classes, and if there's any other news and notes to talk about. All right, guys. So we're going to close with our Bible verse like we do every episode. Mark 8, verse 35. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, the same shall save it. Good words. All right, guys. Hope y'all have a great day. Stay safe out there. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Take care of yourselves, and God bless.